Hello, how you doing? So I just want to talk a little bit more about this situation with the UK riots and looting. Big buzzwords at the moment with it, in most of the newspapers and media is anarchy in the UK, which is quite a strong statement, isn't it? Anarchy in the UK. Is it anarchy in the UK? Well, um, I don't know about that because things are pretty peaceful most places. There's just isolated incidences, and once again, and this always happens, the media tends to, say that things are, wide, sort of citywide. That there's a citywide riot or mayhem or bad things going on, whereas it could just be a few streets. I don't know, but I would guess that I've lived in places where there's been trouble, and it's only a couple of streets, you know. But that's not to say that it's not a big deal. It is a big deal, and may I just say at this point that I'm appalled with the rioting and looting. It's a terrible thing. I don't agree with it. I don't condone it in any way, shape or form. I can understand the frustration of people wanting to somehow lash out through frustration, through the cost of living and the sense of hopelessness in living in society. But I don't even think it's about that. I think that there is an element of sheep mentality, people just kind of joining in for the sake of the thrill, enjoying themselves, committing crime. It's the adrenaline, and I think that it's just violence and looting just for the sake of it, just for the fun of it, and it's a terrible thing. I mean, there are uprisings in other parts of the world, and I don't condone any of the violent aspects of it, but there is some kind of a cause that they're doing it for, whereas it doesn't seem to be the case here. It's just like thuggery, hooliganism, not good. But anyway, I want to talk about something that I read in the newspaper today. Now, I've left the newspaper in my car, but I've just been online and I found the article online, and it is rather disturbing, because I do believe that, I stand shoulder to shoulder with the government and the media in saying, and it's not very often I do that, I don't very often agree, but I do agree that this is a terrible thing that's happening to the country, and I believe that anyone misbehaving on the streets, to put it mildly, ought to be arrested and punished. I do. However, however, I also believe that whether a incident is covertly orchestrated and triggered in order to steer public mass opinion in order to fulfill an agenda or not, or whether it is a spontaneous incident that they didn't trigger but they want to utilize. Okay, that could be another thing. Is the government going to utilize an opportunity through this crisis? That's my question. And I believe, and I'm sorry to say this, but I do believe the answer is yes. Because that's what's happened all through history, isn't it? Okay? They've either been involved in the starting of it, which wouldn't be a first, or they're going to just utilise the opportunity. Right, now there is an agenda to implement the New World Order, and that involves many things. This video isn't about that. Okay, There is an agenda to implement things into society that would not get public support and would be difficult to implement. However, things can change very quickly. And the government is very clever, because what they can do is they can introduce something into your life that you would think, oh no, people would never accept that. But you know what? It just takes a few events, a few crises, for them to be able to implement something that you would previously think would never be tolerated, and not only is it tolerated, but it's asked for. Now, the article in the newspaper is in the Sun newspaper, a UK newspaper, and the UK have done a poll. Now I'm going to link you to it. Okay. It's rather disturbing because, right, and I can understand it, but I don't think people know what they're getting themselves into here, right? It says that 33% in the Sun poll, okay, say that we should use live bullets, okay, live bullets to shoot people, shoot the rioters, basically. I guess to kill them. I mean, what else does live bullets do? I mean, it's not like plastic bullets, is it? Okay. So the article goes on, and there's a few questions asked, right? Water cannons, how many people think that water cannons should be used? Tear gas. Now you can have a look at this for yourself, right? It's just a quick glance, it's very easy to read here. Okay, it's just a diagram. Like, you know, the bars, you know, saying the number of people. Okay, so you've got water cannons, tear gas, tasers, mounted police, plastic bullets, firearms, live ammunition, curfews, and army. Now, this is now what I want to talk about, because, okay, let's just talk about the army, okay? Do you know what this poll is saying? It's saying that 77% of people who took part in this poll, 77. Now 77%, right, it's not difficult maths, it's about two-thirds. Two-thirds of the population, right, of who took part in this poll, believe that the army should be used to deal with the rioters. Okay, now, the rioters do need to be dealt with, yes. But do you think that if the army, right, were to be used, is that not martial law? And when it's all over and it's all blown over, do you think that would put the army off the streets? Do you think that you'll go out of your house and go about your business and the army are just on every corner? That's what I'm worried about. Not because I you know, I don't agree with the system. I have my issues with society, with the system. But hey, I'm sorry, but I am a law-abiding citizen. I am. I want a peaceful life. I don't be breaking the law. So you know, if the military were out there, I've got nothing to be afraid of, but it's like rather spooky, because I'm thinking, okay, martial law, okay, curfews, let's have a look at that. 82% of the population, well, of the people who took part in this poll, believe that there should be curfews. So if this starts, right, my question is, will it stop when the problem starts? Okay, look at for example, look at Iraq. Okay, the war took place. Did the army leave? No, they're still there. Maybe they're needed there. That's not the point. But the war is over. Yes, there's still troubles, but you know, they didn't get out, did they? You know. Do you think that if martial law is declared in this country, do you think it will end when things simmer down? I don't think so. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't. I think that this could be the beginning, right, of martial law and the beginning of our rights being taken away, and you have to be home at a certain time, a curfew, and your freedoms will just be taken away. And not only that, but here's the big thing, right? You've asked for it. You've asked for it. It's not been imposed on you. You've asked for it, and that's the clever thing about psyops, right? Psychological operations. That's the clever thing. You know, they don't just forcibly introduce things into your life, into society, right? It's geared in such a way that you welcome it into your life. You ask for it. You know what will happen next? You're asked to be chipped. I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you who's watching this video. I'm just saying you as in general. You know, I'm talking about the sheeple, right? The sheeple. You'll be asking to be microchipped, RFID chip, because you think it will be for the good. You think it will be for your protection. You know. So, interesting article. Have a look at it. Don't just take my word for it. Have a look. Have a ponder on it. See what you think. But I can see things panning out. I can see where this is all going. I can see the way it's panning out. Thank you.